Okay.
Can you turn me up?
Unreal. Welcome to AVNewsCast.com. Can I turn you up?
Morning.
Hello.
You know, just leave it to Angelina.
Yes.
So much for a clean start.
Yes.
Huh? So
Something
much for a clean start.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to talk about the remarks made yesterday by Cliven Bundy, but we're going to put that off because I think Michael's going to call in
Right now?
in a little bit, and that's
You don't want to
actually,
get us started on Clive. Applied for the spot of entertainer, and he did it very well, and he continues to do it
Did
very
he
well.
apply for the spot of DUI? And
No, that just
he didn't.
happened. What I'm saying is that life happens on the sidebar. He's famous because of the music that he puts out, because there's a fan base. I don't necessarily like his music.
He's famous for driving 120 miles.
He's not famous
in
for
Calabasas.
that, Steve. That's not why he's famous.
What do you mean?
That's not why he's famous. He's famous because he sings.
He's famous today.
No, he's still
Okay.
famous because he sings. Because if you take away all of that fame, would you be detained for 3 hours for egging someone's house? No, they wouldn't even know it. They wouldn't even know it.
If he had not been famous.
Right.
Right.
So all of this is a byproduct. And the point is, tell your kids to not look up to these people because they're not role models. They're entertainers. And they're selling something. And if you like the music, you buy the music. And you listen to the lyrics. And you appreciate it for what it is. Everything else, don't buy into the Kool-Aid.
You have no choice but to buy into it.
Yes, you do. Yes,
No,
you do.
kids
You
I'd
teach
like to
your
see what
kid.
you'd have to say if Rush Limbaugh was in the same situation. If it was somebody that, you weren't too crazy about.
I don't care about him. I don't care about his music. I don't care about his music.
I know, but if it was somebody that particularly...
I couldn't stand.
Yeah, that would... Yeah. That
I
might be
mean, I
another-
think
Deport him.
there's a spot for Rush. I mean, he sells a product.
There's a spot for Justin, too. In
Whatever.
Canada.
Yeah.
Rush knows what sells. Rush probably doesn't believe half the crap he says.
You could be very well right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
But you
can't be that
You
crazy.
can't defend Justin Bieber. I think is a punk. Okay. I don't like him at all. I think he's an awful role model.
I just need to see the definition for punk because people
Okay.
just throw it away.
It's Justin Bieber.
It means everything.
It's Justin Bieber.
All right.
I know what punk means.
Yesterday on Pacific Coast Highway,
Yeah.
this guy, I don't know if you saw this story, guy's driving on PCH, heading toward Malibu. Traffic is just totally backed up. And he's in a Tesla. And he stops his car and opens the sunroof and gets up on the roof. Takes off all of his clothes and starts gyrating on the roof.
Oh, he took a bad batch. He took the wrong hit from the
For a
wrong
half
pipe.
an hour.
From the wrong a half hour.
Half an hour.
So
Police
they
are there.
just watched them first.
Fire
What do you
department's
mean?
there.
Why didn't they grab him?
Lifeguards.
Are you going to
The
grab
guy's
him? You going to
naked
touch
on the
that
roof,
guy?
okay?
He grabbed
Finally,
his arms.
they got the
The
guy.
cops
and-
are scared of it?
Yeah, nobody.
See everything transpire.
Well, I'm sure a lot of stuff is going to happen come the beginning of May. right up to the June 3rd primary.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're a candidate and you're running for office in the state assembly, start using social media.
Please.
That's all I'm going to say. Okay?
Well, we didn't have to say
Social
it to
media
everybody.
is very,
we could have
very
just made
important.
a couple calls and told the ones that we wanted them to use it.
It's very, very important
Yeah,
to get your message out.
yeah.
Okay?
Some of them are using it. I see it. I see it on Twitter.
Some of them are using it. Some of them are not. And
Yeah.
they should be. And they should be.
Yeah, they should be.
We found a way to get around some of the FCC regulations. So we will be allowed to, and we will be bringing candidates on the show,
Yes.
okay, throughout the month of May.
Yeah. Because
Because-
people need to hear what they've got to say.
Right.
You should not be restricted to a 30-day window, 45-day window, whatever window you want to make up. It's not right.
Well, I get that. I do
don't.
understand it.
I really don't. Why should there be a window that you don't get to have candidates on right before you vote? Why?
It all goes back. I'll tell you, that law came about. It all came about because of then Governor Reagan. Okay, that's how it all started, and because of that, it came into law. And they do have both a 45 and a 30-day window, which is basically it's to level the playing field.
Why is it leveled? If you care about the position that you're going for and you want people to hear your message and you think your message is unique enough to be heard, then why wouldn't you want to take advantage of being in front of the camera, in front of a mic at every given time? I don't know anybody that's running right now that wouldn't want to be in front of the camera the day before the election. So I don't get why you close that window. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't.
Some candidates have a lot more money than other candidates.
Well, I don't
And
think that
can
they should have
buy
to
up-
pay for it. I don't. I mean, because we don't charge for you being on our show. And
lot
you
of
shouldn't
other
be, yeah, that's not
stations-
right, though. That's
A
not
lot
right.
of other radio programs.
That
do.
I would say that
Okay.
should be the law, that you don't charge for the benefit of the community.
Well, it should be,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, and for a lot of people, political time is a cash cow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they charge money, and they want to make it a level playing field. So the FCC says, "Hey, get off the airwaves, get out of TV, take it straight to the people for the last 45 days." That's what you got to do.
But they still pump the commercials. It doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense.
I understand. I understand. There was a candidate debate today.
Honestly, I think that the money should be equal across the board, and everybody should be able to pull from the same pool and promote what their agenda is. Because, what came to mind right now was the death penalty and how it lost. And I think that it lost because it didn't have the money behind it.
It didn't lose, it won.
It lost.
Depends
because
on
we
what
still
side
have
of the
it.
table- that's
it
right.
lost because we
Right.
still have it.
Uh-huh.
And I think that if people were able
Sore
to...
loser. You're a sore loser. Go ahead.
You got your Obamacare.
Oh, wow.
See? Let us have some.
I could go on so many different tangents. I was in the doctor's office the other day, and I was like, can I have change for this? Because I needed to go get lab work done. And they had a sign up, and it said, if you have Obamacare, let us know. And I found that offensive. I said, you know what it's called, right? You're in the medical field, and you don't know what it's called? It's not called Obamacare. It's so disrespectful. And you're playing to an element that I don't like. It's called the Affordable Care Act. And if your patients don't know what it's called, tell them.
Okay.
Don't put up Obamacare.
Well, they called it Hillary Care when she was pushing it. I mean, it's just...
No, it's
it's what it was.
it's an attempt to make light on a serious situation that needed to be handled.
There was a poll that was done.
Here we go with the
Months
polls that Steve made up. He got his Excel out and he put things in
Jay,
different columns.
I
And now it's a poll.
like research. Jay Leno even went out and took it to the people, and they started asking people,
Yeah.
if you have to make a choice between Obamacare and the Affordable Care
Yeah,
Act,
I
which
know.
one do you?
I know.
Okay,
Yeah.
a lot of people,
Said I want Obamacare
yeah,
because they didn't know what affordable care is, and that's disgusting.
And they didn't even know what Obamacare was. They just drank the Kool-Aid and they're in.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
I know, it's terrible.
There's how many people? What's the population of America? And only 7.5 million people signed up.
You're amazing.
Okay.
You're amazing.
The website cost us $1 billion.
You're amazing. You're just amazing. You just like to talk about your Kool-Aid, because that's just a portal that you can go through to sign up, to see whether or not you can take advantage of a tax break, those kind of measures.
To see if you get taken advantage of, you said?
You heard what I said.
I'm sorry.
You heard what I said. You can go independently and get insurance, which a lot of people did. It's just 7.5 million at that deadline chose to use that portal. It didn't mean that that's the only way you can get insurance. That's another misconception that is coming from a specific group of people. So you can only get it if you go through.
So do you think the return on the investment, the cost of the website, the cost of all the labor, not to mention that we outsourced a great majority, hundreds of millions of dollars, outside of America, okay?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
You think the return on the investment was good?
I think that...
I don't.
Okay, you asked me though, right?
Oh. Okay.
Okay. I think that the beginning pains of this is always going to be difficult. Anything new is always going to be difficult. There's always going to be growing pains. You open up a new company, it's growing pains. You change something in a company, it's growing pains. There's always going to be that level of adjustment, but the bottom line is 10, 15 years from now, we're going to be thanking Mr. Obama for taking care of us as a nation, because everybody should have the ability to have affordable medical insurance. And I think that Americans have a very short memory, because 20 years ago, we were all up in arms when insurance companies were saying, no, your child couldn't get cancer treatment. No, you had to pay $100,000 for your chemotherapy. Guess you got to drop dead if you don't have it. All of those restrictions that the insurance companies used to apply on us that now is dissipating, we forgot about.
That's okay.
What do you mean okay? That's huge. If you had cancer once and you changed your job and you were trying to get another job and you needed to get insurance, oh, we're not going to cover your female parts because you had cancer before. That's what we had before, but everybody wants to forget that.
You know what? I'm not, again, and I'll say it, okay? I am not against the Affordable Care Act.
Well, your mouth says one thing.
No, hear me out. Let me finish. Don't take it out of context, like poor Mr. Cliven Bundy claims his was. Okay?
Don't start me yet.
Hold on. I am not against the Affordable Care Act. I am only against the fact that they force-fed it and made it a law monitored by the IRS, and if you don't comply...
You got tons of laws all over the place.
If you don't comply, okay, you go to penalty jail.
Yeah.
That, I think, is wrong.
Well...
That's the only aspect of it that I didn't like.
Yeah, well, that's the only way for it to work. You can't say, hey, some people do this, so some people can get that. You can't. You have to. It has to be across the board. If you're raising kids, you don't say one kid could go to bed at 8 o'clock and the other one doesn't have a bedtime. You have to be consistent across the board. Come on now, stop it.
That's how you rationalize it.
Yes.
Now we're to bedtime. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I don't agree with it. And I know a lot of people that are suffering
financially. You just don't like anybody
financially.
telling you what to do. You don't like it. You don't like change. You don't like change.
You're right, I don't.
And you don't like anyone telling you what to do.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Stop it.
I don't. Okay.
Lauren, call in.
Okay, what?
Go ahead.
Okay, no, I don't. I don't. I think there's too much government. I think they overstepped.
Oh, jeez. And all they got to do is just keep saying too much government. Just keep saying too much government. And it'll take a life, and everybody will start using it. And
there is too much government.
Will drink that Kool-Aid and vote all the Republicans back in. It's just silly.
Oh.
It's just silly. It's a sound bite. It's a sound bite that people just can't leech onto, and then they run with it.
Well, unfortunately, the Republicans
we've had government since the beginning of time. Give me a break.
I'm not saying government.
It's too much government.
There is too much government.
There is
too much regulation
that everybody is supposed to be using. Too much regulation, too much government.
Why do you think companies are leaving the state of California and going elsewhere? Because it's too expensive?
Too much government.
Right.
Go ahead, Steve.
You don't think so?
I think California has lost its mind, yes. I just don't like the sound bites that everybody uses.
But there is too much government. There is, I'm sorry, there is.
Okay.
There's too much government, there's too much regulation.
I think that the regulation needs to be looked at and it needs to make sense. Because we need to have regulation, because if we didn't, we would be in the 70s, in the 60s here in California, and the smog would be unbearable. So regulations are important, but we need to look at them to make sure that they make sense. And we need to take out a knife or a pen or black pen and cross out the ones that don't make sense instead of putting another one on top of another one to oversight the previous one that didn't make sense. So it's not that government is a pain in the butt. It's that somebody needs to sit there with a marker and say, look, what is the purpose of this regulation? Is it working the way it's carved out? If it's not, let's do something about it. Let's rewrite it. Let's take it off the books, whatever it is. But it's not that we're over-regulated. It's that we need to pay attention to the regulations and make sure that they are of benefit.
We've got 5,000 bills that get looked at in Sacramento, just California.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Yeah. Well, they got to have something to do.
New laws going on, new legislation on top of old legislation.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
A great example of too much government, AB 1266.
That was silly.
Stupid.
If someone should have said something way before it got to where it is. Way before the paper goes to the governor's desk. That was just silly. Yeah. Nobody says, hey, you know what, you guys, that's kind of not a good one.
No, it wasn't a good one.
No. And I don't know what people it represented.
If you were the CEO of a company, of a startup company, and you spent $1 billion to launch this website to capture 7.5 million people, you'd be fired.
Here we go.
You'd be fired.
Okay.
Your stock would be worth pennies.
Okay.
It would.
Mm-hmm. And your numbers are all accurate.
My numbers are real.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they are. Fox Network, I'm sure they put it out there somewhere.
You know, I don't only watch Fox.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't migrate over to your MSNBC.
Oh, you can't even get it out.
Because it's MSLSD. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, no, I can't. No, I can't. Yesterday there was a candlelight vigil at the courthouse.
Oh, that... For Hubbard.
You forgot.
Yes.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
I couldn't go anywhere. I had class.
A lot of people showed up. It was a prayer and vigil. It was organized by the reaction of the Santa Clara judge, conditional release on pillowcase rapist Christopher Hubert, that is set to be released in the Antelope Valley. There were a lot of people that were there. Denise Latanzi was there. A lot of people. Palmdale Mayor Pro Tem Tom Lackey spoke.
Oh, good.
And when he spoke, and whatever it was that he had to say, affected a lot of people in the audience. One of the people that it affected greatly was a friend of ours and someone that listens to the show all the time, Star Moffat.
Wow.
And because of what Tom Lackey had to say, which she greatly appreciated, I mean, it really hit home with her. She went public yesterday with an event that happened to her.
Oh, she did?
She did. And I totally commend her for that.
Absolutely.
And she actually went public and posted it on my timeline.
Wow.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
And talked about what happened to her. And she's a friend, and she confided personally, a year or two ago, when we were having Michelle Egberts on and all that stuff was going on, and that's something that has affected her every single day,
forever.
And I'm hoping that she feels much better.
Well, it's just a start.
I know.
I mean, I think that it's going to be. I mean, I've never experienced it, but I think that kind of trauma affects you for the rest of your life. And I'm in awe that she feels that she was able to release that, and that's amazing.
Yeah, not only just verbally, but to memorialize it on Facebook.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a huge
I
step.
would imagine, or I'm hoping that it's healing for her, and it just aids in that, because it's not one of those things, from what I understand, that 5 years later you're over it and you feel better. It's one of those things that it's always in the back of your mind, and it's always there, and you're constantly going through different levels of healing of what you went through.
But being able to talk about it publicly, I would imagine, is a huge step toward being able to deal with it and healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kudos to Tom Lackey. Yeah, I wasn't there.
And the Star Mom?
Yeah, of course, to Star. I think that was great. And she said it was directly because of what Tom said, speaking on behalf of the victims, not speaking against him, Christopher Hubert, the serial rapist, but taking the position of the victims, and the way in which he said it.
And he should be heard. I mean, he's ex-law enforcement.
Yeah.
He has seen that firsthand. And, I'm sorry, I'm all for second chances, but as a society, can't we get together and say, there's two things off the bat that you get no second chance. You abuse a child or you rape a woman. How about that? I mean, can't we all just say, if you do those two things, you don't get a second chance?
No, I understand totally.
Because as long as there's a kid on the street, and as long as there's a woman on the street, you run the risk of slipping.
You just put the line in there that there are certain things that you do, you forfeit your civil rights.
Absolutely. Why can't
to it.
Put that on the bill, Mr. Fox? Write it up. We'll vote on it. It'll pass.
Yeah.
One comment that I saw a comment that some people were making, and one person made a comment yesterday, last night online, that they're tired of the talk of the serial rapist and Christopher Hubert, and now they say now you're starting to scare the residents. Okay,
you're supposed to be scared. Yes.
I get it. I understand.
You're supposed to be scared.
I understand. But one comment
then they're doing their job.
They're sick of it now. Okay,
and it was a man that said it, huh?
I don't know, because
it was a man.
They're using screen name tags and I don't know
that's just
what
silly. You're supposed to be scared.
They said look, to go out on Easter and see these signs up all over.
Yes,
ruined my Easter.
Okay, well, it's a reality, and if he was walking the street, he could have very well picked you up on Easter.
Well, they expressed that they were upset with the women that started this whole thing.
Oh, wow.
The women started it. And
upset with one particular candidate who is grandstanding with them.
Wow.
Okay. Christopher Hubert moving to the Antelope Valley is a real serious issue.
Yeah.
One that we don't want to have happen here.
I don't want him to be free at all, period.
Someone called me last night, and they told me the story of another serial rapist who also went by a name very similar to the pillowcase rapist. He was originally set to be released in West Covina. This is years back. The city of West Covina flipped out. The police chief of West Covina flipped out. They were able to stop his release to West Covina. And however they did it, I don't know, and I'm going to try to research it. They got the guy released to the state of Florida.
Wow.
That's exactly where they need to be.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I don't wish them on anybody, but Florida has lost its mind.
At least they have open carry in Florida. But
there you go.
as soon as he was released to Florida,
Somebody took him out,
he reoffended.
and somebody took him out.
I don't know about that. But
That
he
would have been
reoffended.
that would have been. You should have just put that in there, even if it didn't happen.
No, yeah,
that would have been
I
perfect.
can't make up news.
Yeah.
Took him out.
No, but Christopher Hubert, the last time he was released, up in the Bay Area, he was released, and within hours, a day after being released, he reoffended and raped another woman in an alley.
I mean, in his defense, how about this? In his defense, he doesn't have the slightest inkling on how to successfully be in society. He doesn't even know how to do it.
No, he
So you're not doing him a service by letting him out.
Look at what Jeff did. Hey Jeff, is our online feed good? I have no other way to communicate with you other than on the air.
Yes.
But I'm getting comments that they're having a problem online.
Okay.
Watching it.
Watching. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just mentioning that we're going to be doing a series of segments with the LA County Department of Child and Family Services.
Yes. Now get him off the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. And our first one we believe is going to be May 8th.
Right.
Right? It's a Thursday.
Right.
And we're doing these segments because we want to bring information to the residents of the Antelope Valley. Not only the Antelope Valley, but all across the nation. But this is where we are, and we're about the Antelope Valley.
And it's our reality, and we've got to do something about it. We keep saying, these are somebody's kids and somebody's babies. Well, these are our kids and our babies because their parent, for whatever reason, couldn't do their job. So now they're our kids, and we need to make sure that they're taken care of.
And there are a lot of kids.
There's way too many kids
that are in the system, that are waiting to get placed, that should get placed. And there are a lot of people out here in the Antelope Valley that maybe could step up and help these kids.
Yeah, and they're on the fence. And so it's time to pull back the veil of the misconceptions and get some clarity of what it really is. And there's good and bad in it. I mean, these kids are damaged and they're affected. But we need to pull it back and make this available.
It's okay.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you?
Hey, Michael.
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm doing well. So Jeffrey's taking a look at what
I got
was
it
going
squared
on.
away. I got it squared away.
It's working now. But are you in the car?
I'm in the car. Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Are you on commercial break?
No. You're on live.
You're live.
You're live right now.
I like your new show format. You got like the night at the Improv kind of brick building or brick things going on. It's nice.
Yeah, with the comedy club.
I wanted to talk about Calvin Bundy. Did you guys talk about that in the show yet?
No, we haven't.
I was going to. That was actually going to be one of the things that I wanted to target, but I saw that you did too, so I just put it off.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell. I know Angelina doesn't know about it, but I'll tell her about it.
I do know about it.
That's an inside joke between you and me, Angelina.
Oh, okay.
I thought this would be a really good opportunity to talk about the mechanics of stupidity and how it works. I think that basically what you need, you can't say like infants are stupid because their consciousness are nil. They just don't have any experience of life. But this is an older man who basically you have to take a cocktail of a real low-level consciousness type of thinking, a need to want to be a part of a contingency that's as backwards and stupid as anything, and then try to make himself feel important talking about something that makes no sense, basically. And that's why we're here today talking about this rancher that is an idiot.
Well, you know, I have a little different take on it, and you might be surprised. I thought that his comment was insensitive, obviously, but I think that the point that I appreciated is I appreciated that he said it, because we as a nation need to get to the point where we openly talk about it, and we openly acknowledge to America that we've got issues with race, we've got issues with people's perception on other peoples of colors, whether it be white, black, whatever it is. It could be black people being racist about white people. It crosses all color lines. The point of the matter is that we need to start having these kind of conversations, because the man said, some of these black kids that are put in prison are put there because they didn't learn how to pick cotton, and maybe they would have been better off as slaves. And that's because no one's ever corrected him. No one's ever had a dialogue with him. No one's ever told him that maybe the things that he thought was correct as he grew up was wrong. Because we keep on not speaking about it. The reality is that we've got a race problem in America, and we keep it behind a closed door. And it's time to open up the door. Don't be sensitive about how people feel about you, but have conversations so maybe they can take off those glasses and put on the glasses of somebody else. Maybe they can understand and appreciate that there may be a different way to look at stuff.
Did you guys read? Did you guys see the remark about cotton? That was the one thing I didn't see.
Oh yeah, I saw it. He said these guys didn't learn how to pick cotton.
But the thing is that, Angelina, what you just said makes perfect sense, and I totally agree with it. But the fact of the matter is the common denominator of this guy's conversation is ludicrous, and he's an idiot, because think about what he said. So if you take what he said on face value, okay, yeah, sure, that might be the vehicle and damage control that he's talking about. But I mean, look, the fact is that let's just say his rapport skills stink.
A little bit.
Let's start with that.
Yeah.
Can I get an amen on that?
Yeah, amen, my brother.
Yeah, but Michael, this is a guy that actually captured the hearts of America.
Some of them.
No, he actually a lot. You know what? Washington D.C. was rallying around this guy because they thought this was good for them.
An element.
Okay.
It's all about Fox News.
Yeah. Oh. And now they're all running from him.
Yeah, because the reality is that he was the only rancher that wasn't paying his taxes. Everybody else in the community was paying their taxes to have their animals graze there. He was the only one.
If you want to talk about politics, I was talking to a staunch Republican a couple days ago who's a Rand Paul. I said, who do you think the Republicans that really need to start? Who do you think is really going to be able to kind of, get in there and, win the Republican Party? And he says, well, Rand Paul. And Rand Paul is the guy that endorsed this guy and then had a retract.
Yeah.
And that really, I mean, if anything, the Democrats should be thanking this Calvin Bundy, saying, thank God for people like you.
I'm sure they are.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, I'm not saying I'm a true Democrat. I'm just saying that you're talking about politics, and that's really, it takes a big blow today because people, the swing. Look, people are going to vote Republican, they're going to vote Republican. People are going to vote Democrat, they're going to vote Democrat. But then you got those swing voters, and you really need to be careful with them because it can really swing very gently one way or the other.
Yeah, I just think that we live in a nation that it's only important if you have it in the forefront of the media. They don't take the time to research the person that they want to pump up. Because if they would have researched him, clearly they would have said, okay, let him talk, but don't make him the poster child. But they made him the poster child. They thought that everything was going to be golden coming out this man's mouth. And then they're going to put him in front of the slums in Texas and say, make a comment. Yeah. And he put his foot straight in his mouth.
He needed some media coaching.
And it's the same. You know what? It's the same thing as picking Sarah Palin, the one who I could see. What was it? Russia from my
front door.
From my front door. Just do some vetting. Do your homework. The internet is available for all, Republicans included. do your due diligence and figure out if you really want to back who you've got that camera in front of.
The thing is, maybe this gentleman was feeling emboldened by his, newfound fame of being a cause celeb with the Republican Party, and that made him feel like, well, I want to be able to get more connection, and he took a stupid vehicle, and that vehicle was to say this dormant rationality, because maybe they never knew that there was this guy was swimming around with his head. But then he got pumped up himself, and then he said, I'm going to share a philosophy that I've had for a long time that no one's known about, and let people know how dumb I really am.
Yeah, well, I think he drinks a lot of tea.
Oh.
Yeah, well, Senator Paul from Kentucky ran away from him yesterday. He said his comments were totally racial.
Immediately.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree.
Yeah.
And now I'm against him.
Yeah.
Okay.
See? And it's like the wind. They can't. I'm telling you, the Republican Party needs to get together and have a meeting, because I'm telling you guys are out of control. You guys got to get on the same page, dude. I'm just saying.
I just wanted to call and talk about the mechanics of stupidity and what really breaks down in the person's brain, why they would say something that seems so illogical. And that was, for me, he was trying to do it for a connection with, people that he thought he would be able to connect more with. He was trying to make it feel so important. His vehicle was just totally ludicrous.
It was.
But the other fact is, where does this stand as far as our public and how we all look at it? Hey, look, it's pretty simple. The fact of the matter is that you got some stupid guy saying a lot of things that don't make sense, and you have racial tension in this country. And there's a lot of people out there, this old-timer, who, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if they had an African-American worker that works with them that defends them. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't have to be African-American to say, this guy has racial... Let me be fair. He has racial undertones. Mm-hmm. And there's no... And you want to play around with the word racial, I don't care. Look it up in the dictionary if you want to be denotatively correct about it. And this guy has racial undertones, and the fact of the matter is that he deserves everything he's getting got.
Yeah. But I think that the flip side is that we need to start paying attention to the fact that we need to open up that door. People like him, because you know what? His heart might be in a good place, but he's just not educated, and no one's talked to him about race relations and sensitivity and why a lot of African American young boys are in prison. And there's a whole different side that he's not aware of because of the fact that nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody is so afraid to offend that no one wants to talk about it. And one of the great things that happened to America is that we received a black president, because we've never been so racially charged than we have been since he's been the president. Before, it was way back in the closet, and now it's in the fourth row.
I disagree on this gentleman not knowing, being educated enough on the dilemma of African American community and its history and the problems that it's had. It's not like, after the civil rights movement, like LBJ, passed, a bill, and then I was like, well, everything's great now, there's still remnant. And this old guy knows that, and it's not like he hasn't been educated. Turn on CNN, I'm sure he watches it. Maybe
he only watches Fox.
That's why he doesn't have any information on it.
And think about it, Michael. Do you remember what the school books were like when you were a kid? And he's older than both of us. So when he was in school and they had the chapter of Black Americans, it was 2 pages. And they only talked about slaves and picking cotton. There's no real history. These kids are not being taught real history of African Americans, their plight, where they are now, what's affecting their day-to-day activity, why we don't have men in the households, why the women are overbearing in some cases, definitely not me. There's a mechanism that people are not getting right now because we're not dealing with it.
I went to school, grammar school, as a kid in the 70s, and when they had busing, the African American kids got off the bus, and we treated them like they were movie stars. We were so happy that they were there, except for maybe paranoid parents. But all the kids, and that kind of environment, a different environment when you grow up in a bigger city, as opposed to maybe a smaller city. But this guy, I believe that he definitely knows the difference. He was trying to reach connection with
Just say Tea Party.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything about it. I don't want to act the Tea Party as racist. I don't know anybody in Tea Party, and I can't say that they're racist. But I can say that this guy is, and I don't agree. And I think that he deserves. And nobody should candy coat the situation. I mean, no offense to you, Angela, I just disagree. No one should candy coat what this guy said. He's a racist, and this is not tolerable. And I'm glad that there's a backlash because we shouldn't tolerate this with anybody in our community, race, creed, or color.
You know, I agree with you 100%, Michael, in that I don't believe that his remarks were taken out of context.
Oh, no.
I believe he opened his mouth and showed his true color.
Yeah.
Okay? And it was totally intentional, and he did it to make a connection with a certain sect.
Yeah.
Okay? I totally do.
Oh, he absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what? It would be a mistake, and I'm not causing anything, and I'm saying it would be a mistake for people not to realize, look, this guy deserves to get everything negative coming his way, because you can't say that about a group of people. So, you want things to change on how people think about other people? Get on people big time on the way that they're acting, that the contingency of people don't want them to act. People say, well, the N-word, other African Americans can call the N-word to other people, and, well, you know what? Maybe that, whatever word that they choose, what that contingency chooses not to be called, okay, that's their rule. That's the law to stand by. And we've all heard it enough where he said a variation of it, you know, and he knows, I mean, come on. This is not the 40s and the 50s. He knows that anything other than African American, which is so prevalent in our mainstream, and that's what the contingency wants to be called. So why call anybody else other than what he called? And he knows that's what they don't want to call.
He's trying to identify.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
I'm sorry. This kind of stuff is really gets me going, and I don't like to be political, but I wanted to say something on the air. This is important, and this is a problem in our country, and this guy deserves... I just wanted anybody listening, the little listeners you got there in the Antelope Valley, these kind of people should not be let off easily. I think that the only way things change are people like this should be vilified.
Well,
he's on his way.
I hope that the head of the Bureau of Land Management is African American.
Well, he doesn't have to be.
No, I understand. No, I know. I know.
Well, CNN gave it to him bad. I mean, I was loving it this morning. Como gave it to him.
The manager of Habitat is African American, and that's all right by me.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yep.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Mike.
Have fun, bye.
All right. Have a great day.
You know, I just think in regards to that, yes, you know, the guy should be vilified. Yes, all of those things should happen. But there's a bigger issue. And the bigger issue is that until we get all of those kind of people to speak their mind and start training people that they're insensitive and they're not really educated on their particular viewpoints, we're always going to have somebody that's a little nutcase that thinks like that. Instead of shunning it and saying, don't tell people that you don't like black people or you don't like Mexicans or you think, you know, black people all ascended from apes. Stop telling them to be quiet about it. Stop it, because it's not helping. It hasn't gone away.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Bundy's son, you know, said to him, "Dad, I wish you hadn't opened your damn mouth."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I wish you
Mr.
had.
Bundy's family had that ranch for centuries, or a century, or however long. He grew up. He was taught in a little house with the bell at the top on that ranch. He don't know what he's talking about.
No, I know. There's a funeral today for one of the kids that was killed in the FedEx bus crash. And a member of our staff actually is attending because it's
it's her nephew.
It's her nephew.
It's her nephew, Jeff.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's her nephew. And he happened to be the young man that sat next to the twin that passed away, too.
Oh.
And what they gathered from other kids that survived in the bus was he had just gotten up from sitting in the back, and he went up to the front.
Well, he's the one to plug in his phone?
I don't know if he plugged in his phone. The other thing that was striking about this young man, and his name eludes me, was his father had a heart attack 2 weeks ago. And right before he gets ready to go on this bus trip, he's telling his dad, Dad, I could stay home with you. I don't need to go. I don't need to go. And his father was encouraging him, no, baby, this is your future. You need to go. This is a big deal for you. I'm fine. You go. This is your future. And this is what happens.
Wow. Well, just the other day, the first lawsuit was filed by the mother of one of the kids. $100 million in damages, plus, is what they're seeking. And there's going to be many, many more to come. And
well, what was the cause? Did the FedEx? They don't even know yet, right?
They don't even know. The cause in their lawsuit was two causes. One, that FedEx knew that their trucks had a problem, and that those particular trucks had a history of catching fire. And two, that, and I didn't necessarily. And two is that the bus was not equipped with enough exit doors. So they sued.
Well, I don't know if that would have made a difference if it's on fire in the front.
I don't. I'm sure they're going to go back and amend their causes of action.
Yeah.
It's
a shame that we have to have a significant tragedy for a company to say, okay, I guess I got to fix that now.
57-cent part.
It's terrible.
Well, no, that's GM.
Right.
That's GM. And since you mentioned that, and I mentioned just the other day, that GM is trying to skirt their responsibility. General Motors went back into court and filed a lawsuit in bankruptcy court asking the judge to save them from any liability. The suit was filed just the other day, and they are seeking protection from any and all legal claims for actions that took place before it emerged from bankruptcy. And GM's official position is that the recall that involves millions of vehicles were manufactured by the old GM.
It's just so shameful.
Asked federal judge Robert Gerber to protect them 100%
That's just so
from
shameful.
any new GM claims.
So shameful.
General Motors says at least 13 deaths have been linked to this, a 57-cent problem. Including labor, it was $1 to fix. And GM says that they are not going to pay a penny.
Well, they better make them pay.
Now, is that a company that you want to buy something from?
Nope.
No.
I don't think so.
Why would you?
Look at remember Paula Dean? Okay, and her opening her mouth and the problem she got in.
Well, she didn't get into too many problems. I told you I bought her cake that next day at Walmart.
I
It was not taken out of Walmart. Her stuff was still there. That was all hype. Remember I told you guys, I'm like, I'm looking at I took a picture of the bundt cake. Paula Dean, Walmart. We're pulling from Walmart. No, you didn't.
You bought food products, but you didn't buy the
They said they were pulling Paula Dean's products. That's what they said. They didn't say we're gonna. And her other stuff was there too, Steve Benson.
Okay, well they didn't pull it.
They didn't pull it.
They said they were.
Yeah.
She did. Okay. Anyway, the point I'm making though is there was a huge backlash with her.
But she is dirty because she closed her restaurant without telling anybody. This happened like a month ago. I don't know if you guys heard about it. But she literally closed the restaurant. People are coming to work. And it's padlocked, closed. Restaurant closed.
She pulled a Romney.
After she
Yes, and people want him back. People actually want him back. I'm like, you couldn't even get his supporters home after he lost. And you want him to run the country?
He didn't want to get him home.
Yeah.
He said, forget it.
Yeah, you searched
I know, but there's a group of people that would love him to be president.
I know.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. The point I was trying to make, though, is
Sorry, honey.
huge backlash with Paula Deen a year ago. I'm not seeing that with General Motors.
No.
And that's what I don't get.
Great point.
Okay?
Great point.
I don't see America saying, we're not going to support this company.
Oh, then we should do that.
Okay? I'm not seeing that.
Yeah.
And that really surprises me.
Yeah.
That they would do that. I mean, could you imagine if FedEx or the bus manufacturer tried to go in and skirt their responsibilities after 10 people lost their lives?
Yeah.
It would be terrible. But General Motors can go in and do it because it's old news, because it's 2009.
Wow.
No. Well, we'll talk about it.
Well, we'll talk about it on our show.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep talking about it on our show.
Yeah, we will, because it's not acceptable.
Over the weekend, I thought this was kind of humorous, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying that.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Over the weekend, down in San Diego, there was a football game, and it was between the LAPD and San Diego police.
Okay.
Okay? They're playing at the stadium.
Okay.
While they're playing at the stadium, somebody breaks in the locker room,
Uh-oh.
Okay. Oh, my God.
steals their guns and badges.
Stop!
Oh. Why'd you take your
Yeah.
guns and badges to a football game?
Why would they? Well, your badge is in your wallet. And your guns, they're just stuck to their guns.
When you're law enforcement, you're required.
You take your guns all the time?
You're armed 24 hours a day.
Oh, okay.
So you're playing football, keeping the gun safe and bolted in the trunk of your car, and you can pop it out when you.
Well, I'm sure they're thinking about that now.
Somebody
But
was
that
was calculated.
Yeah.
so bright
Woo!
as to break into the locker room
Oh,
and do that. What a
Uh-oh.
pair
that's
of
amazing.
cojones. What a pair of cojones
So how many did they come out?
to do.
Was everybody's?
No, they got between 4 and half a dozen guns
Ooh.
and 3 or 4 badges.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty out of control, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty out of control. There is a, I believe today, and if I'm misspeaking, well, oh well. There's a candidate debate.
No, you're right. It's today.
It is today
For the
at
seniors?
at Chimboli Center.
Yeah.
Okay. Sponsored by Senior Center of
Yes, a Palmdale.
Palmdale. I know Roxy Patterson is involved in that.
Right.
Is your mom going?
Oh, she's gonna call you on that one.
Why?
She's just
Uh-oh.
No, I thought she was active in that
Yes,
organization.
she is. She sits on the board.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
I would imagine she is. I don't know. She better be. I'm sure she'll be calling you now.
I
Calling
haven't.
her out on it.
She didn't have my cell number. I haven't seen a whole lot of publicity on this, and I just heard about it
No,
the other day.
I just heard about it last night.
It's for the candidates running for the 25th District,
Right.
United States Congress. So that's going to be today. Are all the candidates going to be there?
I believe I saw 4 people are going to be there. I don't know more than that. You
I know
brought
just-
it up. You should have been versed on it.
Oh.
No, I happen to have just seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I mean, it wasn't. Really out there a lot. So I don't know any more than you do.
Oh, okay. Well, that's today at 1 o'clock. It's at the Larry Chimboli Center. That's Sierra Highway and Palmdale Boulevard in Palmdale.
Yes.
So if you want to meet and greet and listen to some of the candidates and hear what they have to say, and maybe voice your opinion on something, which would be great, you want to get there at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
Because you need to get involved. And people need to vote, and they need to get involved on the issues.
Absolutely.
What do you think that some of the people running for Congress, one of the biggest issues that they're talking about is water.
Oh.
The water.
Everybody laughed at me a couple of years ago when I said water was a big issue, and now look at it.
It's an
But
issue.
when we were talking about the birthing center at the Lancaster,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
They
and I
say-
brought up water, and everybody laughed at me.
Yeah, they say it's water. By the way, now that people could even Skype into the show, Michael wants to go to Walmart
Yeah.
and he wants to go buy an assault rifle live,
He's
Yes.
and he wants to Skype
Yes.
the entire purchase into the show
Yes.
to show how simple it is in Texas to walk in and walk out in 10 minutes.
Nice. Yay, Texas.
I thought that would be kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that would be kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, I understand. But you see, when someone breaks into your house,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
see.
I want to be protected. I really do, but I'm just afraid, you know.
Yeah, you signed up for a gun class, didn't you?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
They said I'd have to touch the gun. I touched your toy. What was that thing? And I was having a heart attack.
Oh, you did not. You paused like you took a pose like Ma
didn't
Barker.
like it.
With that thing. Okay. The only thing you were missing was a cigar coming out of your mouth.
I don't like it. It kills people.
Oh, okay.
It kills people.
It also protects people.
I know, and I need some protection.
And in the cities, in the states, where they do allow you to carry a
I
weapon.
wonder if you could have a gun in your house as a resource parent.
It has to be in the safe.
Oh, okay.
Where they have allowed you to have a gun in states where you can carry a weapon, crime has gone way down.
Whatever, Steve. It just depends on how
Everything,
you put
you
it
know
on.
what? When I say something that is factually true,
Yeah.
that she doesn't agree with,
You grab it out of a place.
it is a fact.
Okay.
Crime went down huge in states like that. Okay, it did.
Listen, polls
Okay.
are only good if a completely nonpartisan person
Polls are
puts
only
it
good if
together.
they agree with Angelina.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I know.
the first thing.
There's a
As long as we're
poll.
clear.
There's a poll on the internet on the Onion
Oh, yeah.
about the Affordable Care Act, and it says how great it is.
Ooh.
Okay, so that would be a poll that you want to do.
Yeah.
I know we're out of time. It is
Yes.
Friday. Yeah. Just lastly, I want to mention: be very careful if you drink and drive tonight,
Uh-oh.
because there are DUI checkpoints. No, we're not going to tell you where, but they are.
Okay.
So be very, very careful.
Well, hopefully they won't be at 6 o'clock.
Of course, they start at 6.
Why would they start at 6?
They
Who's drunk
catch
at
people.
6?
They're, you know what? People roll out of bed in the morning
Come
and start
on,
drinking.
they're not drunk at 6.
Okay, all right. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for making us the #1 news talk radio program in the Antelope Valley. We'll be back on Monday.
Yes, we will.
Have a great weekend.